And in my playbook tonight, former Vice President Dick Cheney is about to be indicted for allegedly participating in an international bribery scheme. Nigerian officials say that they are issuing an arrest warrant for Cheney through Interpol, the world's biggest international police organization. Shooter's new legal troubles stem from Halliburton's alleged bribery of the corrupt Nigerian government of the 1990s when he was the CEO of the company. Halliburton is accused of paying the government $180 million in hopes of getting a $6 billion natural gas contract in return. Cheney's attorney responded to this afternoon with this following statement. This matter involves the activities of an international four-company joint venture, which included KBR, a subsidiary of Halliburton, well over a decade ago. The Department of Justice and Securities and Exchange Commission investigated that joint venture extensively and found no suggestion of any impropriety by Dick Cheney in his role of CEO of Halliburton. Any suggestion of misconduct on his part, made now, years later, is entirely baseless. For more, let's bring in John Nichols, Washington correspondent of The Nation and the author of the book, Dick, the Man Who Was President. Gosh, the Department of Justice looked into it. Was that Alberto Gonzales or was it John Ashcroft? There's a real investigation for you. What is this big trouble for him, John? Good to have you with us tonight.
It's good to be with you, Ed, and it is very significant. Nigeria, which is a real ally of the United States and a country that we have immense levels of business interaction with, has been investigating this case for 6 years. These prosecutors are Oxford-educated, very, very capable prosecutors, and they've come to the conclusion that Dick Cheney should be indicted for criminal activities in bribing a brutal dictator who has been accused of actually killing people in order to advance the interests of his business partners. So, yes, it's a big deal.
Should the Department of Justice in the United States get their hunting dogs back on the trail here?
There's simply no question that they should. Look, this was investigated by the Bush-Cheney administration's highly politicized Department of Justice and the Securities and Exchange Commission. Halliburton has paid a lot of fines with regard to its international activities, huge amounts of money under the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. And so there's acknowledgments that there was wrongdoing. What we're now getting to is the question of whether the CEO of the company was involved in what another country, a foreign country, determines to be criminal activity. Of course we ought to look at this, and we ought to take it seriously. It shouldn't be something that we dismiss, not just because it involves Cheney, but because it really involves questions of corporate wrongdoing on the international stage.
How about maybe there might be some cables that might have been intercepted? It's been an interesting week with that story.
Isn't that interesting?
What do you think?
I think it's highly significant. Look, Dick Cheney literally went over to the CIA 3 and 4 times a day at some points during his vice presidency. There's nobody who was more engaged with cable traffic than this guy, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if WikiLeaks has another package for us to look at with regard to this.
John Nichols of The Nation, great to have you with us tonight. Thanks, John.